Go get outdoors with Jet, make the best of time that you got left. Hunting and fishing under the sun. But even if it rains, I'm gonna have some fun. Come on, let's go, get outdoors with Geoff.
Well, here in New Zealand we're blessed with some fantastic beaches, and beaches means fishing. And today we're going to look at a high-tech method of fishing which takes the latest technology in the world and applies it to catching fish. It's pretty special. But over the years we've looked at how different people catch fish, from surf casting off the rocks, walking the baits, to using torpedoes. We send the torpedoes out off the beach, which a lot of people do all around the country now. Great way of fishing. But these guys, this friend of mine, has developed something pretty special. We're going to go and meet him right now. Right, hello Kyle, this is Kyle Parshotam.
Hello Geoff.
Now mate, this is your baby, eh?
Yes it is.
You developed it?
Yes.
AeroKontiki. And we're using a drone to take our line out to sea. Exactly. Mate, I can't wait to see how it works. But first, we'll put the baits on. We're using mullet, because I like to use mullet on the west coast here. I'm just putting the mullet guts on that hook, so that'll catch a fish, I reckon. Are there quite a few of them around the country?
Yeah, we've got about 50 sold so far. Almost all of them are in New Zealand, and we've sold some as far as Oman.
Oman?
Yeah.
In the Middle East?
Yeah, and they do catch snapper there as well.
They catch snapper in the Gulf. Well, there we go. We've got 16 traces, and we're allowed to use up to 25, but 16 is pretty good for this rig, you find?
It's an easy number to work with. It works with the automatic launcher, so it's nice and compact, and you can easily do it again and again.
Yeah, so this is you developed this?
Yes.
And the traces just pop off as it goes up. Well, I can't wait to see it in action. Yeah.
So this is our release mechanism. So we connect the line there so that it's fixed, ready to release when the drone is out at the place you want to drop.
Okay. And you can release it from here?
Yes. So what we can do is, once it goes out and we decided we want to release, it's safe, we can see clearly what's out there, so we can choose to release it at the spot and then just return back home.
And so how far out can we go?
We can go up to okay, but you are supposed to be able to see it the whole time. Normally it's best to go where you know the fish are.
Well, like all fishing.
Exactly. So, you know, normally, typically 800 meters is good. Yep. 8 to 850, we find that seems to work quite well around New Zealand. Okay, this is our controller. It's a very easy system to use. You only use 3 buttons despite the most switches. This is our dashboard, and over here we can see everything from the distance, the power usage going out, voltage levels, and the system is smart enough to know when there's enough power draw. Once it's reached a particular power draw where it has to reserve enough to come back, it'll let you know.
So I was wondering about, the first thing you think of is you don't want it to run out of petrol or run out of power and fall into the water, but it's impossible for it to do that. It's got a fail-safe mechanism built into the software.
Correct, that's it. So it's telling you of all the information you need, and itself will react if it's running too low.
So this will tell you when the battery's getting low.
Yep.
And if you don't do anything about it, it'll turn around itself, drop the thing and come back.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And you're away. That's fantastic.
So we're at about 47 meters now. So it holds its head, keeps itself all straight.
Yep.
So it won't go any higher than 60 meters, so I can just ease off there and just hold it. And the idea is just keep it that way and just let it go out.
Yep.
So we're at about 160 meters now. So it's going out at about 25 kilometers per hour. It's governed to go at that speed, and the reason is the spool will handle that speed.
What's that telling us now?
So we're coming up to about 800 feet.
Well, it's pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll stop there from here. So it's turned around. You can see the arrow turning around, and now it'll start getting back to us.
And it finds its own way back.
And we didn't even use half power to get that, so we didn't even get a warning. So it's coming back again at 25 kilometers per hour.
It's coming back at 25 kilometers an hour. It knows where to come. You've got GPS and you've got pretty sophisticated software built into this.
Exactly.
And now it's coming down. And it's doing all that itself with its own GPS system. That is amazing. That's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It's fantastic. If we send our electric torpedo out, it takes about 15 minutes just to get out there. And that was about just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Straight out.
It's roughly about 3 minutes there and a couple of minutes back.
3 minutes there, 3 minutes back. Right, it's out there, so we better you put it in gear. And
so once the line's put out, we just tighten up the drag, take away from free spooling.
Yep.
And just wind it in a little bit, take off the tension.
Yep. And this is an electric reel. I see it's a Daiwa. It would be a lot of work winding it in by hand, I would imagine, so the electric reel come in very useful. And you've got the battery attached to that here. Oh yes, very smart. So we've got a reasonably heavy rod, but of course, without a torpedo, you don't need the big electric winch, you don't need to pull all that weight back through the water. So basically it's a regular fishing line now.
That's exactly
with
right.
16 hooks, 800 or 900 metres out to sea. And you came up with all these concepts. You're an engineer.
Yep, it's been an interesting process, but we've refined it really well and works as a complete system now.
The civil aviation rules, because you can't just fly a drone anywhere in the country, can you?
That's right. New Zealand's been accommodating there. They've got a very good website called airshare.co.nz. One can look at that website and see where they can and can't fly, and they can also get a permission to fly in certain areas. Using a drone, you have to follow the civil aviation rules, and working from a beach as well, you're flying straight out over the sea, so you've got to be sure it's all clear and there's nothing there when you're using it. You often have to ask for permissions with either from the administrators or property owners, and from the beach, it's through councils.
Safety is obviously very important, isn't it? Because as you say, you've got a machine, it's like a baby miniature helicopter in the air, and so you're always conscious of safety.
So when you're flying out, you make sure that everyone's clear, and when it's hovering out above you, you shouldn't be underneath it, you should be clear of it and enjoy it. It's a machine, it's a tool to do what you want it to do, and look after it, and it'll provide for you.
This is obviously more powerful than the regular drones that we've seen on pictures of, or we've seen people using. It's a different configuration, isn't it?
It's what we call a Y6 configuration. It's a good configuration for penetrating through wind, and it's got very high thrust and very good stability, good for hauling. It can take snags, jots, and the entire frame is constructed out of carbon fiber and really well put together, so it can take all those stresses of hauling out a line.
How high do you go when you're actually towing the line out?
It's locked at a ceiling of 60 meters, which is a good ceiling to have as you're hauling out up to a K. If you see a boat, that you do have to look out for that, and the boat's certainly heading towards the line, you should just drop it much sooner, so it's all clear. Jet skis are one thing we've got to be more observant of, because they change their directions quite frequently. So I wouldn't recommend using it in an area where you've got a lot of sports activity, water activity. It's just...
No, you wouldn't know.
But on the other hand, you've got such beautiful beaches. We've all got beautiful beaches here in New Zealand. Look at this, we're the only ones here. It's a clear day. It's
fantastic.
Perfect.
Looks like there's a bit of a sweep going down the beach. So we've got, what sort of weight could you put on the end, the far end, when you're taking it out? How heavy could you go with the weight, do you think?
We've got some users that use a total of 24-ounce sinkers, like 12 in the front, 12 in the back. Depends on the area. You can compensate the sinkers for the distance as well. If you know you want to go 600 meters and you want to use quite heavy sinkers, you can. We've got people taking out crab pots too.
Crab pot? Yeah? So they lift up a light crab pot, take it out and drop it, got a couple of hundred metres offshore on a line, and then just wait for a while and pull it in.
Yes, and the crab pot works in a way where when you pull it in, it pulls through a float, so it lifts it up off the water.
Okay.
I haven't tried myself, but we've got customers that are venturing out and doing all sorts of things with our AeroKontiki.
Well, we'll go and have a cup of tea, then we'll pull it in. I love my hot water, and this is what I do for hot water at the Batch at the lake. When you're ready for the luxurious wonder of steady, hot and strong hot water, install a Rheem continuous flow gas water heater for hot water that goes on and on and on. Halfway in. Coming up, the system works. Well, here we go, a couple more.
Let's go, get outdoors with Geoff. with Geoff.
Check out the hot deals on our new website, GT Tackle. See my own gear at the sharpest prices direct to you. Oh, nice. The GT Killer Snapper rig was designed by top charter skipper Lenny Ramak, and it's the deadliest trace rig I've ever seen. And the GT Killer Flasher rig comes with a sinker ready to go. Plus, my own secret, a sliding hook hard on the bottom, right where the fish are. See the sliding bottom hook on the Flasher rig, mate? Works every time. Only at gttackle.co.nz. We're out on the west coast testing a new method of fishing, combining sophisticated software, high-tech materials and some good old Kiwi ingenuity. It's the AeroKontiki beach-based long-line fishing system. We've set the line with the drone, now it's time to pull it in. And we've got an electric fishing reel for this job. Right. Well, that's easier than standing there widening it all the way in, because there's a lot of weight on there, you know, with the current. Even though the line's quite light, there's a lot of weight, which hopefully might be some fish. But that's the great thing, you know. There's the what's on the end? What's on the end? 843, 842, 841. And you were telling me that you're developing an app which you'll be able to use on your phone, and if you catch a lot of fish out in one spot, you can send it back to exactly the same spot.
That's
right?
correct, yeah. You can use a phone, but we typically use like a Samsung Galaxy tablet. We've already done the first app, which will autonomously take the line out, drop it and bring it back. But the next phase is to save favorites. And that means if you know you've had a good catch, you've got that same put in that's already saved in the system, you just pick the spot and go right there. Save it as a favorite.
Back to their favourite spot. A bit like what you do in a boat with the GPS mark. You can mark the spot. Fantastic. Well, it's pretty sophisticated. It's not just throwing a line out off the beach, is it? Halfway in. Straightening up a bit now. Straightening up. Would have a bit of a belly in it when it's set way out there, I would imagine. But yeah, you wouldn't want to do it where there's a lot of rocks or reefs offshore, because you'd lose the gear. But the great thing about this system is if you do get hung up, all you're losing is the fishing section, which is only, what, about 30 metres of nylon line with your traces and a little sinker. That's all you'd lose. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that. Look. Oh, look. Yes. The system works. The system works. Lovely snapper. There's another one behind it. Yeah. Well, here we go, a couple more. Adding some more to the bin. The system works. Bit of a strong wind blowing now, Kyle. You know, it's blowing down the beach. Where the drone was to fly out, it's a lot higher. It would look like it was hitting into a pretty strong headwind, didn't it?
Yeah, but you could see it tilting and compensating for that wind, and it still pushed forward.
That's right.
You know, even though it's gusty.
So it adjusts everything automatically. The software is pretty sophisticated, is it? It takes care of everything.
Yeah. So it senses it can feel the strength of the wind, and if it tries to pressurize it to go in any other direction, it will compensate and pull itself back to hold itself on track. And
you've done a bit of work to enable people to insure them?
Yes. We worked with Aon to put together a policy called the AeroKontiki Aviation Insurance, and Aon's really helpful there.
Yeah.
And it's specifically for this product, yeah, it's a good cover that even covers for public liability up to 500,000 as well. So good on them.
Okay.
They really appreciated it. They looked at it as an industrial drone and insured it that way.
Because it's all fairly new, isn't it? The whole drone industry is new, so all these things have to be developed, I guess. And the batteries, I see this is the battery you use. They're pretty, they're lithium batteries, are they?
Yeah, it's batteries have to be good quality so that they're safe as well.
Yeah.
The aviation industry considers this to be dangerous when you take them on planes, so they've got to be good quality and they only get shipped around.
So they're high quality batteries, Kyle, but how many runs would you get out of a battery?
What we do is we limit it to one full set, one full run or mission, and the system will manage the power flow and know how much there is being used, and it'll ensure there's enough left so it can come back. So if you've got a heavier load, fighting against a lot of wind and going very far, up to a K, then it will let you know if it's coming near to the halfway mark.
I love my hot water, and this is what I do for hot water at home. Life's better with mains pressure. You'll love having steady, hot and strong hot water when you install a Rheem mains pressure hot water cylinder. Life's better.
Install a Rheem, install a Rheem.
Coming up, what does West Coast fishing usually mean?
One of the loveliest eating fish. Look at those beautiful wings. A red gurnard. One of the loveliest eating fish that swims.
Get outdoors with Geoff. Get outdoors with Geoff.
Our aerial Kontiki fishing is proving a winner.
Here we go, a couple more.
What is impressive is the time involved. It only takes 3 minutes for the AeroKontiki to pull your line out 850 metres. But there was a strong current sweeping down the beach, so we moved to another spot to see if the conditions were any easier. Currents can be a problem with long lines set from the beach. This system has got everything, even the GPS talking lady.
Cell minimum at 3.65.
Right, the lady's telling us where it is. We're a bit more of an angle to the left this time.
Yeah.
Good idea. If you take your hands off it, it'll just stop, will it?
Yeah, it'll just
Yeah.
hover in the ground.
Yeah.
All I'm doing at the moment is trying to go forward. I'm not telling it to go up or down.
Yeah.
It's got its ceiling, which is 57 meters at the moment.
Yeah.
Maximum of 60.
Cell minimum at 3.55.
You can tell this locked onto satellites up
Yeah.
there.
It's got 12 at the moment.
12 satellites. It's talking to 12 satellites.
13 now.
13.
So it's just toggling in the two.
I can still see it.
There's a bit of wind up there.
Do we know how far out it is? Yep.
Yeah.
Warning.
So 700.
Cell minimum at
Oh, there we go, 700.
3.41. Warning. Cell minimum at 3.43.
So we're at 800 now.
800.
So we can drop it now. I'll start lowering down.
Yeah. Okay, that brings us down a bit.
On there. So that's about 860.
Cell
There.
minimum at
This is
3.2.
the
Okay.
release button.
Fishing
So
line
release.
released. Warning. Cell minimum at 3.
And return to home.
3 minutes. Return to
So we got a headwind there as well. you
Yeah.
know, So it's going right into that. Got to about 888 meters.
888 metres, Jesus. And it
So
tells
that's-
you exactly what the wind
that's
is
the-
up there. It's carried out 24 ounces of sinkers plus the line. Our AeroKontiki is back after dropping the line. It's like a live bird. It's almost scary the way it stopped, turned around before coming down. So that was impressive, Kyle, because you can manipulate and drive it slightly and adjust it as it's coming in. But if you leave it totally alone, which you didn't touch any buttons, so that came in and landed exactly on the spot by itself. Amazing. It's coming back by even I could probably drive it. And that's saying something. Oh well, we've got our baits out again, so 10 past 1. We can have some lunch.
Let's hope we catch something.
Get something. The beach at Muriwai is a pretty nice place to be waiting for a fish to find your baits. But this system has a lot of potential. There are usually kingies outside the breakers, and it would be pretty easy to drop a livey out there. And you were saying that the drone is designed, the software is designed so it won't go below a certain height. It's impossible for it to get too low. How does that work?
So we've got what we call a low altitude shelf, and this is something we're the first also to introduce, which we introduced initially for live baiting. So you can haul out a live bait, go as close as possible to the water, 15 meters. No, you won't go any further and put in the water. That's the beauty of it. So it won't go any lower than 15. You can drop the live bait, survive the plunge, and then back to home.
Okay. And so how does it know 15 meters to stop?
Good point. It's got a barometric pressure sensor, so it can measure altitude quite accurately.
Oh, okay.
That can differ a little bit with hot, cold spots in the sea where you get pressure differences, but it's still quite tight.
I was very impressed with your trace board. We all have boards carry our traces, but that one, it actually lifts it, it pops off the trace. So you worked that out yourself, did you? You're sitting at home pulling all the traces off.
That was an interesting exercise. The idea was to keep it as simple as possible and just have one thing to carry that was light. And it turned out simpler than we expected. I was doing all sorts of experiments from my second story level, pulling them out, getting them to come out. I got hooked in the finger a couple of times. but we got it right.
So people wanting to get into this style of fishing, you have a lot of instruction involved in your whole business, don't you? You'll come out and give people all the instruction.
So sometimes there's on-hands training we can offer people. Other times, we can even do it by the phone. We've done that, where they've worn a hands-free kit and they've held the radio and, had the headpiece on. And now we're doing instructional videos as well, which makes it even easier.
Oh, fantastic. AeroKontiki.co.nz. That's the one. AeroKontiki.co.nz. Simple. Go flying and fishing. Well, I've used the electric winch on the GT Kontiki plenty of times, and it works fine. But the electric reel with the braid line is certainly a lot easier and quicker. And the West Coast delivers again. The combination of the AeroKontiki system, fresh mullet bait, and a lovely January day, and we've got dinner for the team. But we've also got a bonus, a West Coast regular, a beautiful gurnard.
That's one of the loveliest eating fish. Look at those beautiful wings. A red gurnard, one of the loveliest eating fish that swims. And they're actually quite common on the west coast out here. That's lovely. That is beautiful. But I think we better just try another spot.
Okay.
We'll go up the beach a bit further. Well, there we go. AeroKontiki at Muriwai Beach. Late January and fantastic.
Check it out at aerokontiki.co.nz. You can find GT tackle at selected Maiko plumbing stores. And we've got the new Hilux from Pukekohe Toyota. What a vehicle! It's a huge step up. And the Polaris takes us into the steepest country. Profile boats conquer the water in style. Yamaha provides the grunt, Furuno helps us find the fish, and the profile boat is supplied by Furman's Marine in Napier. For all your hot water needs, go to ream.co.nz or see your local plumbing merchant. Next week, after 4 years, will our 5th challenger bag the Big Six? We take on the Ream Big Six Challenge.
Launch or a four-wheel drive makes you feel so happy just to be alive. Come on, let's go get outdoors with Jet. Make the best of time that you got left. Hunting and fishing under the sun. But even if the rain's gonna have some fun, come on, let's go get outdoors with Geoff.